There's a new way to determine if brands from various suppliers are sold by third-party sellers, such as this brand, Realcraft, which you can see is being sold by a third-party seller, versus brands that tend to be sold directly by Amazon.com itself, sold by Amazon.com. This brand is also known to file IP complaints, which is another issue. And there's a Chrome extension that I'm using to determine that. But basically, the main thing here has to do with profitability. If you're drop shipping on Amazon, you want to be selling what other people are, other third-party sellers are selling, versus selling something that Amazon.com is selling. You're going to tend to have a tough time. And that goes for arbitrage as well, not just for dropshipping. So dropshipping and arbitrage sellers. And really anyone selling on Amazon. So the thing is, in the past, looking at a supplier such as Zoro.com, for instance, in the past, what I've done is I've said, well, you go through the brands, you take a brand such as, Duracell. You go over to Amazon and you search Duracell, and then right, and again, this is if you don't have any software, right? Typically, you pull up Duracell and then you find a Duracell product, and you'll find a bunch of them, and you have to go through them and then actually look to see who's selling them, if they're sold by Amazon or by third-party sellers. And looking at one listing is not enough, because one might not be sold by Amazon.com, and then another listing of Duracell might be. So, as you can see, this process is it's a bit painstaking, and it's really not efficient, because I can't look at a lot of products. Now, I can use Keepa to help out with that, to try to filter out Amazon.com, but that's paid software. There is actually a totally free way to do it, which is using ChatGPT, OpenAI. I did not realize that I could do this literally until today. And so it turns out, if you ask ChatGPT, if you give it a list of brands from a supplier, which I did from Zoro, and you ask it to tell you which brands are sold on Zoro but are not sold directly by Amazon, it will in fact be able to do that. ChatGPT can actually do that. And as you can see, it gave me a list. Brands sold on Zoro.com but not directly by Amazon. Now, it's important to note, in order for me to do this, I had to have a list of Zoro brands, and I had to give that list to ChatGPT. I do have the list of Zoro brands on a spreadsheet that I scraped from Zoro. By the way, you can download these from me as well. And so it's one of the brands. It's included as part of the all the different lists that I mentioned on the video in the description. And so by having that list, I'm able to actually drop that list into ChatGPT, and it's able to do the analysis. So this is really amazing, because instead of painstakingly going through listings, now I know that these 25 brands it has listed out are not sold by Amazon.com, but rather by third-party sellers. So let's take, for instance, a look at the first brand, which is Angry Bull Barricades. Right, I'll just take that brand, copy it, I'll go over to Amazon, and I'll just paste Angry Bull Barricades. And I mean, sure enough, I do see that the brand, first of all, is on Amazon. Just the fact that we even know it sells on Amazon. Not every brand sells on Amazon. You have to understand this. So it's significant that the ChatGPT can even tell us, or even know that it sells on Amazon. Right? That's already a lot. But then on top of that, the fact that it knows that it's third-party sellers. Look at this, right? This is a third-party seller. Okay, very likely a drop shipper, considering the size of the item and considering that the brand is apparently it's a Zoro brand, or a brand that is typically on Zoro, and Zoro is used a lot by dropshippers, by Amazon dropshippers. All right, so it just makes perfect sense. So, I mean, I could keep going through more of the products, but pretty much I would expect that as I scroll through these different Angry Bull Barricades, I'm going to keep seeing some kind of third-party sellers on those. And it looks like I'm seeing the same seller So I don't know what that's about. And I'm not necessarily recommending this particular brand and saying that you should sell this particular brand. I'm just showing you that this brand is not sold directly by Amazon.com. It is sold by a third-party seller. And that ChatGPT was able to tell me that. It was able to go through a ton of Zoro brands. I mean, look at my list of brands here, right? Starts on row 2 and it goes down to row 542, right? So that's 542 minus the first row. That's 541. Oh, I've got a blank here. So 540 brands. Okay, 540 brands. ChatGPT can go through it and reduce that list to 25 brands not sold by Amazon. And it took about 2 minutes maybe for this to pop up, maybe a minute and a half for these results to pop up. So that's just amazing to me. All right, compared to how I've had to do this in the past. So definitely, if you don't have ChatGPT, sign up, get ChatGPT, OpenAI with your Google account. Just sign up; it's free, and you can ask it all kinds of stuff. And I'm still amazed at what it can do, because there are things that I'm not sure that it can answer, and then it's able to answer it, and it does it correctly. So it's very useful in product research. This is product research. I want to make it clear, this is not necessarily sourcing. And I made another video that you might want to check out, and maybe I'll have it linked, where I talk about doing this process, which is product research versus sourcing, because people think they're the same thing, and they're not. They're two different things. Product research, this is product research. When you take a bunch of brands and you're finding out who sells the brand, who's in the market on this brand on Amazon, that's product research. Sourcing is when I now take these products such as Angry Bull barricades, and then I see if I can actually locate, which I expect it to be sold on Zoro, and I see if I can locate the Zoro source of this same very product. And it says green, for instance, here. So I want to see if this first green one is the same product. And then from there, I'm, of course, going to check the profit and all of that, and calculate the profit to see if I can, in fact, make a profit on this product. I'm not sure what happened with this page here. It just froze. But that's basically the sourcing process, right? So that's sourcing. What I just did here with the brands and figuring out how they're sold or who sells them, that's product research. So it's very important to understand the difference, because if you don't do product research, you're going to go straight, if you go straight to Zoro and just start trying to source brands randomly, you're going to keep hitting brick walls all over the place. And that is why you get people, and I've seen tons of people commented even on my videos over the years saying that it's impossible. You can't find profitable products. You can't find products for arbitrage or for drop shipping, or it's impossible. It's impossible. It can't be done. Meaning that you can't do it manually. You absolutely can, but you have to do product research first, and then, researching the brands, then do the sourcing. You have to do it in that order. Okay? So if you go source this brand, I'm sure you're going to find profitable results. And to do that, that's where this Amazon sourcer can then come in. We can use this to make it easier to actually locate sources of these products. And so I'll demonstrate that in a separate video. I'll put a link in the description of this video, and I'll demonstrate how we can actually go about doing that process in a separate video, because there's a whole nother there's a whole nother process you've got to go through and learn how to use this Google Sheet. And for this video, I just wanted to present to you this concept of determining that brands are sold by Amazon or third-party sellers, and the difference between product research and sourcing, and I wanted to make that clear. And so that's about it. Just check the description of this video. I'll have a link to a video where I will actually be using this Amazon sourcer to actually source products, probably that of the same brand, perhaps, that we just looked at least starting with that brand, and there may even be several other such videos. I also have a bunch of resources, including this Google Sheet, in the description of this video. The IP Alert Chrome extension, this is essential as well, or something like it, that will give you these kind of alerts, because Amazon does not tell you. You can have permission to sell the brand, but Amazon will not tell you if that brand is known to file IP complaints. You get a steep discount with a discount code. I worked it out with the owners. You get a steep discount when you use the discount code. They've got a membership that you can pay one time for life, and that's it. So, and you can just be done with it. And it's not like a crazy amount. And the discount is very steep if you use my code. So see the description of the video for that. And that will help you a lot with your safety as you're researching these brands, to make sure that you're not necessarily, just researching any brand, even though it's known to file IP complaints. So that's about it. I missed the mark, and I look forward to either hearing from you or seeing you around in another video.